everybody, welcome back to the Essential Al. Erin here. We are going to make another cold process soap today. I am really excited about this one because today I'll be making another soap that's colored with clay. So yay, I really hope that this one turns out similar to the one that we made last time, the Karmic. I know that there has been a week between my videos. Last week was just crazy and all over the place. And last weekend my niece turned 1. So, sorry about that. I guess I just needed a week to myself. But let's go on and jump into this. I've got all my oils and everything ready to go. My lye water is at a great temperature. Let me show you what I'll be using to color the soap with today. The base of the soap is going to be colored with French green clay. This one's from Nurture Soap. And it looks like this in the jar. It is pretty green. It's almost a light army green or something like that. So I'm interested to see how it's actually going to turn out in raw soap. I'm also going to be doing a swirl, just like with Karmic, hopefully, of activated charcoal. And I just like showing you all the pit of nothing when I have charcoal going into soap. And for the fragrance, we'll be using this fragrance oil today. This is called Avalon from Nurture. And this smells very interesting. When I very first picked this fragrance oil, I thought that it was really masculine. But the more that I smell it, I don't know if maybe it smells slightly different in the bigger bottle as opposed to the sample. Like you have more of it so you get a better smell of it or something. I don't know, but it smells much more unisex to me than masculine now that I've had it for a little while and have the bigger bottle. So I'm going to be using that. For the top, I've also got some more salts. Yay! I got these salts as free samples with orders from Brambleberry. And I've just been, for the longest time I didn't have any idea of what to do with them. But with these clay soaps, I think that's the perfect soap to try out these salts with. But this is black sea salt. This is very, very fine. Let me see if I can get it up close to the camera. There we go. I don't know how well you can see, but it is very, very fine salt. Whereas the salt that I used on Karmic was it was coarse ground. I do already have the clay, the green clay, in my base oils. That's why it's this funky color. I don't know if once I add the lye water to it that it'll go back to that green color or not. I kind of hope so. I might just add more clay and hope to green it up a little. But right now it's a strange tan color. And I've already got some charcoal mixed with a little tiny bit of oil in this. What's the word for these? We'll call it a bucket. So I've got everything ready to go. The fragrance oil does say that it does not accelerate or discolor. So I should have a lot of time. Relatively speaking, with these steep water discounts, you never really know. Sometimes it just likes to set up really fast on you, but I should have a fair amount of time to play with it before it thickens up. So I am going to go ahead and add my fragrance oil to my base oils. With this batch size, according to the usage rates of this fragrance oil, I can use the entire bottle. Actually, and without further ado, let's jump right into the making of this soap. Okay, so this did thicken up really fast, faster than I expected it to, and it's staying this ugly brown color, and I don't like it. So I'm going to add some more clay and give it a quick burst and see if I can change it to green. Alright, so plan B, I don't like that green color pretty much at all. So, because it is more on the green side, but it's definitely a brown green. So I am going to add a little bit of alpine green mica. That makes me sad. Okay, so I am going to switch my stick blender over to this little bucket with the black, pour in some of my batter, because I'm going to attempt to do a drop swirl. I say the words attempt because I don't know if it will be successful or not. But I'm really disappointed in that green color. That is not at all what I was expecting. Alright, so that's as much blending as I'm gonna do. The charcoal is nice and dispersed into our swirl color. But yeah, I was expecting a different green using the green clay, that is for sure. I don't know if maybe it was a mistake to add the clay to the oil and kind of let it sit there for a little bit, which is what I do with my kaolin clay, and it doesn't seem to change any weird colors, but who knows, maybe as it cures I will regret having added the alpine green mica. And I did not add much, just enough to make sure that the soap looked green because it was an ugly, I'm still not very happy with this color. Can you all see? I mean, it's not awful, but it's not what I was expecting was going to happen after seeing the colors on Nurture Soap's website of the color that they say that the soap will be once you add that clay. So, alright, I am going to, actually, I'm going to do another drop swirl with this. And I've changed my mind again. So, I don't know if that's going to work or not. I would like to do a charcoal line, but I think this is too fluid to do that. So back to plan Z. Alright, so there's that. And there is quite a bit of black for swirling. So I don't know. We'll see how it looks. But it is interesting. I do like playing with natural colorants. It's just that was not what was expected whatsoever. I do want to give this a quick pre-swirl here. Okay. I'll save some black for the top. And in we go. Alright, I'm going to get my spatula and scrape this container. What do you guys think of the color? I'm not sure. It's kind of growing on me. But, and like I said, I do kind of wish I hadn't added any mica to it at all. But that's just how it goes sometimes. Okay, and now I'm going to pour this little bit of black, and actually there's quite a bit of black left, but I'm going to pour some on the top so that we can get a pretty top. Just kind of let it drizzle and do its thing on the top. So that we can swirl it. Okay, I'm going to pour the rest of this into my little owl mold because I don't like wasting any. Whoa. So this might sound a little bit cliche, but how has the weather been in everyone's various areas? Yes, I am asking about the weather. But I ask because we have had, here in Kentucky, 3 seasons in 1 week. And I mean that quite literally because earlier this week it snowed, and it snowed quite a bit. There were several inches on the ground. And also in that same week, the next day, mind you, it warmed up to a temperature where I felt I don't need a jacket and I'm actually a little bit hot. I want to say it was somewhere in the 60s or so, which compared to the weather the previous day almost felt like summer. And then today it very much feels like spring, where it's a little chilly and it's rainy, and we had a little bit of a thunderstorm, and it has just been a week for the weather. The only thing we were missing was some fall, and it's been nuts. I don't know what kind of drugs Mother Nature's on, but she needs to go to rehab. Is that lame that I laugh at my own jokes? Especially since they're not even very good. Oh, you guys. It has been a week, let me tell you. Okay. Get this cleaned up. And now we can move on to the swirl. I am just going to take my pipette here, and I don't know, what kind of swirl do we want to do? Let me give this a little bit of a jiggle, just to kind of level it out some. And let's do... And now we'll go this way. How does that look? I think that looks pretty cool. What do you all think? Yeah, I like that. I think that's how I'm gonna leave it. So I need another paper towel to clean up my edges. Husband brought me some paper towels because he's a nice fella. We're just gonna clean these edges up really fast. All right, so the edges are cleaned up. I'm actually going to take my gloves off for the salt because it's fine, and I feel like it's going to be a giant chore to pick up these little salts with gloves on that are too big. I didn't have to, but I switched back to my, I believe they're latex gloves, nitrile gloves, from my big purple rubber gloves that I had bought. And that's because I already had so many nitrile gloves that I felt bad switching to the new gloves when I hadn't used all of the old gloves yet. So there's your little tidbit for the day that you probably didn't even care about. And let me tell you all, I enjoyed my week off. I'm not gonna lie, but man, I really missed making some soap. Let me tell you. Alright, so I'm going to do the salt on this one a little bit different than I did with Karmic. I am going to sprinkle the salt down one side instead of down the middle. And just for the sake of ease, I am going to do it on this side. Now, I don't think that this salt is going to stand out too much, since with Karmic, you know, that was a light rose colored soap, and then there was a white swirl on the top, and then the salts were a darker rosy red shade, so they stood out really well. But since this has black on top, and then the salts are black, I don't think... Beans? Oh, she's being disruptive. Anyway, I don't think that the salts are going to stand out too much on this soap, but I'm really okay with that. Sometimes subtle is a good thing. And I am sprinkling quite a bit of this salt on. And the reason is because I want there to be a pretty defined line of salt. At least once you see it, I want you to be able to notice, hey, that's actually quite a lot of salt on there. And also because some of the salt is going to fall off. That's just how it's going to be. And the more that I put on there, the less I'm going to feel like I lost from falling off the soap, if that makes any sense at all. I apologize if it doesn't. Sometimes my brain goes weird places in the middle of my sentences, and they just don't they just don't make sense. So I think that just about does it for our salt. I used more salt on this than I did on Karmic. And you know what? What the heck? Let's do a little light sprinkling over the entire soap, just like we did with Karmic. Will I regret that later? Maybe. Just maybe. And make sure every bar has some lovely, lovely salt on the top. Salty, salty. I got that from Rosanna Pansino. I just love her channel. Nerdy Nummies, if you want to look it up. She is fantastic. Alright, so let's bring you all in for a close-up. So this is what we've got going on. You can see the little bits of salt all over the top, and this really defined line of salt on the edge. And I really do like the green that we ended up with. I didn't at first, and it is coming off a little bit lighter on camera than it is in person. In person, it's almost like an army or hunter green. Oh goodness. Well, that actually shows it a little bit better in my opinion. That other light. Yeah. So that's what it looks like. That is much more closer to life than this. So, and I apologize for the color shifting. When it's cloudy outside like this and I'm soaping in here, it plays some crazy tricks on the lighting in here. So I apologize for that. But this is the soap that we made today using the green kale and clay. It does not yet have a name. By the time the video goes up, it will. But if you enjoyed this video, please let me know in the comments down below. Drop a comment. Tell me about your day. Tell me about the weather, because I'm really curious if anybody else has had really intensely crazy weather this week. And that is just not my strange state. Give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe so you don't miss any of my uploads. And tell me what you think about this soap. I'm still a little bit on the fence. I kind of wish that I hadn't added any mica at all, even if it was just a very small amount, just to give the French green clay a fair shot. And I do have oxide. I'm assuming that's what they use to color these salts with, all over my fingers, so I'm going to have to go and wash that off. But that is all that I have for you all right now. I will bring you all back for the cut. Bye-bye.